Today's guest is a pure blood entrepreneur. He's an educator, he's a mentor, he's an investor, a professional speaker, a business coach, and marketing specialist. And also, he's a good friend. Don Martin, welcome to the show, man.
Hey, Nick, thanks for having me on the Constructing Greatness podcast, brother. Much appreciated. I'm excited for this show. And I actually listened to a couple of your first shows and really enjoyed them. So it was good.
No, I appreciate it. And I'm excited to have you. Don and I met in college 26 years ago. I believe it was 1994, the fall season. Don and I met on the baseball field. We played baseball together for Temple University. And Don was our lefty or southpaw ace. It was a fun 2 years. I transferred there. Don, you were there for four seasons, correct?
Yeah, I was there for 4 seasons. I had came right in as a freshman I went to Pennsbury High School in Pennsylvania, and good old Skip Wilson, head coach of Temple, spotted me there and recruited me to Temple. So, and it was a fun, interesting, adventuresome, and 4 years for sure, playing
especially for the pitchers. Yeah, more adventuresome for the pitchers.
Especially for the pitchers, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. What did you take up at Temple? What was your major?
So when I first went there, actually, Nick, I went there for baseball. Like, I really didn't care about the rest of it. I was playing at the elite level through high school, and I had opportunities to play a lot of different places across the country. I was offered scholarships by a bunch of different schools, but Temple was close. It had a pretty good reputation for the program at the time locally, and since it was close, they gave me a really good offer. It was the best one I had, and it was close, so I decided to go to Temple. A distant second to baseball for me was actually architecture. I was really interested in the architectural engineering world. I took a few architectural electives in high school, and I really enjoyed the drafting architecture side of things. So when I went to Temple, I started with the architectural engineering major.
Mm-hmm.
One of the biggest challenges with architectural engineering is that all of the studio classes fell at 3:30 every day, and that's when we had to be on the baseball field.
Yes.
So I had to change my major pretty quickly, and I actually switched to civil construction engineering technology.
Mm-hmm.
I really didn't. That wasn't really my thing. I didn't want to be there. I really liked the architecture side of it. So I ended up switching to a business degree with a concentration in real estate, which actually I'm so happy that I did, because I went to business administration with a concentration, actually 2 concentrations in marketing and real estate. But real estate was where I really wanted to be, and that's what I went to school for.
Love it. And that's one of the big reasons too, is obviously because, you're passionate about what you're doing, and we're going to get into that. And you followed your heart, through your process and in your career. And you started out in construction. Talk a little bit about what you did for construction and what that has done to propel your career.
Yeah, for sure. So when I finished up school, I was expecting to go play pro ball. I finished at a really elite level after my junior year. I was in the top 5. We played together that year, and I was in the top 5 in the area and the country. And I had opportunities to go play some pro ball. And talking with Skip and some other people, I decided to come back for my final year because I wasn't getting what I thought I should be, to be able to go play pro, and realized that the crop was going to be different the next year coming out. I'd have greater opportunities to play one more year at school. So I went back for my senior year and had an injury, actually. It wasn't enough to keep me from playing, but I lost a lot. I tore my labrum in my shoulder. A lot of guys don't even know that, but my senior year it happened. And so it made me have to reflect on what I was going to do. I did still play a little pro ball after. It was very limited. It wasn't deep, but it was, I did play some pro ball. But just because people were willing to take a shot at me because maybe we were hoping it was going to come back, but that type of injury, it's not something that you can come back from unless you get surgery. And back then the surgery was worse than playing through it, Today it's a little different, but 26 years ago, since we're getting a little older now, Nick, you and me, little different process. So I didn't know I was going to do. I really didn't. And so when I finished up school, the job market wasn't what I wanted. I wasn't seeing anything in a job market that I wanted. And I was always a free spirit. I was always entrepreneurial. So being that I loved the architectural world and I liked the construction world, and I liked the real estate world, I decided to start in the construction field, primarily in residential, with roofing and siding and small additions and things like that, because that's what my dad did. He did okay with it, and I had enough background on it because to know that I could get started there, and I could do 2 to 3 times the income working for myself in that field than I could taking a job in the job market that was there for me currently. Yeah. So I decided to just dive into it and hired some guys pretty quickly. I think one of the most important lessons I learned early was that I didn't know everything I needed to know in the parts of construction that I wanted to. So I hired guys that knew what I needed to that I didn't yet, and that was a really important thing because I was able to learn things from watching the guys that I hired work. And then I also just educated myself like crazy. I just just engrossed myself in the work that I was doing. And I got certifications all over the place from the different manufacturers and things like that. But I was really just ready to go out and hustle. And I just went out and hustled, and I found work, and I went out there and I did a lot in the residential world. But the number one thing that brought me my work in was I was smart enough to get connected in the insurance world. I got in touch with a lot of public adjusters and insurance adjusters, and build relationships there, be able to do emergency service work, which always leads to really good jobs. And that's where I really got the fuel for my construction business. So I did really well right out of school. I was doing well for several years. And one of the things I always like to point out is the reason why construction ended up being where I went was because I always liked the idea, Nick. And I think this is important for people out there that are entrepreneurial, that want to make money, but they love the construction world, particularly. But they also want to create some kind of passivity of income. One of the challenges I had in construction for me was that every time I worked, I got paid. But I had to work again to get paid again. I had to work again to get paid again. And that's great because you can do really, really well in construction for the work. It's a very honorable, profitable, especially when you do it right, industry. But I also wanted to create some passivity. And real estate was where I wanted to do that. And being that I got in the construction world, I could always do my own work in my own real estate. Right. So that's where I wanted to lead to. But I was working so much in running the construction company, that I didn't have as much time as I wanted to invest in real estate, but I was able to start to do that, and it was fun. So that's kind of where it led me, because that's what I wanted. I wanted to create that ongoing. I think one of the keys to wealth is leverage. Not only having employees, that creates leverage for you as a business owner when you have employees, because they're willing to work for a wage, and then you can obviously have some leverage there because you can create yourself a process that and a system that creates, yes, a really good living for your employees, but also some leverage for you. So you're not constantly trading time for dollars, and you create some good wealth for yourself. But with long-term in the real estate world, I love that because I always love that idea of having ongoing cash flow, doing something once, doing work once, creating some kind of process that creates income that repeats itself over time, even after the work is done. I always pictured it like this. Man, if I could figure out a way, my accountant actually said this to me one time, Nick. He said, if you can figure out a way to do a roof, right? Because I did a lot of roofing because it was good, fast money, and I can, but if you can figure out a way to do a roof, and then instead of getting paid one time on that roof, every single time it rained, you got paid again because the roof did the job. And it rained, and you got paid again, and it worked because for 20 something years, or however long that roof survives, it's providing value to the. So imagine if that could happen. And I said, yeah, that would be awesome. And he goes, that's the power of creating passive income. And one of them is in the real estate investing world, you
Mhm.
know, and there's other ones too that he introduced me to, but that was what was really kind of pulling me in that direction. And I understood that. And that's one of the most important things I coach and train people when they want to make ongoing income. That I love all professions out there. I love people that are passionate, especially the construction one, because I loved the end result. I loved making an impact. I loved the project. I really enjoyed,
To see what
the
you
before and
constructed.
after.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
watching it evolve,
Yeah.
watching it take its own,
Mhm.
form. But while you do that, there's smart things you can do alongside of that that can create
Mhm.
ongoing passive income. So you can really focus on doing the work that you love because it's a passion, and you're not as engorged in the financial side of it because you have finance taking care of themselves because you really learn how to
Mhm.
leverage.
Now, was your real estate investing, was that flipping? Was that tenants? What were you doing
Most of the
exactly?
time, most of the time it was tenants. A lot of times, what happens with people in the construction field is they get kind of sucked into the flipping world. There's
Mhm.
nothing wrong with it, but the flipping world is it's the least tax beneficial way of being an investor.
Mhm.
You have a lot of taxes to pay when you're a flipper, and although it's profitable for sure, especially if you know what you're doing.
Mhm.
But to me, I was more. I understood the tax benefits, and I
Mhm.
wanted to improve the property, right?
Yep.
Refinance the property, take the cash out that would have been made selling it,
Yep.
but it's tax free because I didn't sell it. I take the cash out from refinancing after I improve the property. So I get that tax free and then put a renter in
Mhm.
that creates a positive cash flow ongoing. And then any given time, 5, 10, 15 years down the road, you could do the same thing again. The renter keeps paying it, but you're taking cash out tax free. That's
Mhm.
how I always saw it. And that's how I always enjoyed it. But don't get me wrong, there is times where it makes sense to do a 1031 exchange, where you
Mhm.
can sell the property, leave the money in a escrow,
Yep.
use that money that would have been a profit without having to pay taxes on it and go towards the purchase of another property. And sometimes it's just great to cash out too, But the
Sure.
majority I bought and hold. That
Yeah.
was what I did primarily.
Yeah, we did that as well. We had a handful of properties, but we had some tenant issues, and then obviously the market hurt us too back in '07, '08. You remember?
Oh yeah, I
Uh,
remember. And I lost a nice chunk on one big project. Luckily, I was diverse enough, and I had residual income coming
yeah.
in from another business that I had started, a really strong residual income. It's the only reason why I survived that because I got walloped in the real estate
Hmm.
business at that
Yeah.
and as everybody did, pretty much.
Yep. They sure did. They sure did. And I don't know if you know this, but uh, your podcast was one of my original inspirations. You started podcasting. It's called The Grind Life. What was that, about 3 years ago, Don?
I
Was your
did,
first
yeah. Yep.
first
Yeah,
live?
yeah. Appreciate that. Yeah, I started that. Yeah, I think it was about 3 years ago. I started it, and honestly, I just did it because I had stuff to say, and
Hmm.
I really love to make a difference. I really do.
Hmm.
I love to make a difference. I love to impact people, and I always believed my whole career in business that no matter what people did, they had to have a purpose in
Hmm.
their life. To fuel their hustle, to
Yeah.
fuel what they did. So I don't know, divine intervention, whatever, but it hit me one day is grind life. You have to have a life of grind. But I
Love the
realized
name.
in order to be grind, yeah, you have to have a why in your life.
Hmm.
So uh, when you have to why a purpose in your life, that fuels your grind. So we spell it GRYNDLYFE because I
Hmm.
think people can live life two ways. They can either live life with an I, just getting by, like average, ordinary people, which is nothing wrong with that. I'm not judgmental of people that
Hmm.
just want to have a simple life. There's nothing wrong with that.
Hmm.
Actually many times respect them and wonder,
Totally. Yep.
sometimes they're at the most peace I've met.
Yeah.
I'm different. I'm just different. I
Oh,
want more and I want
I
to make a
know.
difference.
Yep.
It's just the craziest thing. So other type of people, they live a different type of life. They live life that I spell with a Y because they have a why that fuels them and
Hmm.
they don't need rest. In fact, the more they work, the more energized they get. People
Right.
that live a normal life with an I, they get tired after working.
Hmm.
People that have a why in their life and they use that why to fuel their grind, which I call
they love what they do, right?
they love what they do, and the
Yeah.
end of their day, they have more energy than they started at the beginning of the day.
Yeah.
Because it energizes them because they are doing what they love. Doesn't mean it's not hard work. It doesn't mean there's not ups and downs and you don't get punched in the mouth. You're going to have that happen in anything that you do, but you're still, when you're doing something that you passionately love and you're making the difference that you want to make, man. Holy moly, it's awesome. And that's what our podcast for people that just have a why, or they want to find their why and they're willing to fuel their grind every single day with it.
Yep. And do anything they can to build themselves, educate themselves and learn and just invest in themselves to be better.
Well, I found a long time ago, Nick, and there's one commonality that I see with successful people. And I study them, man. I really do, because I'm with mentoring and coaching thousands of people now across the world. That there's a big differentiator. There's a separator between the people who make it and the people that just kind of don't make it from a financial standpoint, right?
Yeah.
Just using success as the barometer here. Financial success, I'm sorry, as a barometer here. The people that financially succeed at a great level, I realize that they are constantly self-developing. Constantly. It's a daily mission for elite performers and whatever that is they do, and successful people. And other people that struggle to maybe move up in their life or move on, they don't do that. And because they don't do that, they might be working harder and harder and harder. But if they're not developing themselves, the world is dictating how they respond to it versus them dictating how they respond to the world. And that mindset is everything. So developing yourself, becoming better every day. When I bring people on board, when I bring on apprentices or I mentor people in my business that I do now, the first thing I do is I tell them the most important thing that I've done is my goal is to make myself about 1/3% better every single day. That's it. A decimal point, about 1/3% better than I was the day before. Because if I can do that, if I can self-develop by listening to a podcast, listening to an audio while I'm exercising, making myself just a little better physically fit, right? Especially during COVID, man. I did gain the COVID-19. I worked out, but man, I'll tell you, I enjoyed the food. I got to keep on moving. Yeah, man. The reality of it is if they can make themselves 0.3% better every day, and they do it
just a little bit.
In a year, they're 100% better. In 2 years, they're 200% better. In 3 years, they're a brand new person. And you don't know where these people came from. All they did was a little action every day that they don't really have to take time to do, because you can listen to a podcast or listen to an audio, or you can attend a conference outside of your normal everyday work, outside of your normal everyday life, or while you do things that you normally would doing anyway, like while you're working out, while you're driving to and from a job. That's how I got out of construction completely, Nick, was I found a way personally that I could create more residual, not only with my real estate, but another way. I love the real estate world and the construction world, but I saw something that really spoke to me from a business entrepreneurial coaching mentorship process where I can make a bigger difference in other people's lives. That was my calling. Nothing against construction world. I love it. I think it's great. In fact, if I didn't find this, I'd still be there. But I listen to audios every single day. I never listened to the radio, bro. I listen to audios every single day, every time I was in my truck. And back then it was cassette tapes, bro. They bought the cassette tape and I just listened over and over again.
I love myself some podcasts, man. Me too. And you again, you're my original inspiration for podcasting, and I've been a podcast junkie ever since, man. And it's just great. It's just great for you.
I'm so happy, man. I'm glad I can be a little, make that little difference in your life there, bro.
Definitely, man. And that leads
you and I have a lot of history, man. We have a lot of history, which is fun, and it's so fun watching us now. We're all these serious business guys, and we think back to all the ruckus, you know what I mean, in college.
It was fun though, wasn't it?
It was fun, man. It was good, and that's the best part, guys. Listen, if you saw the two of us, I want to inspire just kind of acknowledge everybody that's listening. It doesn't matter where you're at now. Doesn't matter where you're at now. If you want something different, just make a decision that you want something different, and then decide to saturate your mind in that and become an expert,
Yep.
become a professional,
And
in
whatever you
wherever
want
it
to
is you
do.
wanna go.
Yep. It's a choice. It's a choice. Yep.
It really is.
Yep. And that leads me to what Don does now. And it's a very unconventional profession, but it's a profession that is greatly growing.
Yeah.
And it's network marketing. And Don, talk about, you started DMJ International in 1999.
Yep.
And talk about, you were kind of leading to that, why you chose that, how you found, DMJ and what it's all about.
So yeah, what happened was my accountant, who owned about 50 pieces of real estate and had an accounting firm, I was introduced through a good friend of mine. In fact, his brother was working for me in construction at the time, and they asked me to take a look at something. And I had a lot of preconceived notions about the network marketing world. My father had tried it 3 different times and it didn't work out. And it's primarily because most of the time it doesn't work out for people. Because they're not really designed for everybody to make it. They're normally and ordinarily designed for, the top tier people, in these companies.
They give up. They give up, basically.
A lot of times people give up, but also a lot of times the way they're developed and designed and structured, average people, they're not designed for the average people, right? And that's one of the challenges that that industry has, like a 95% turnover failure rate. Majority of people don't make it for whatever reason. It's what it is. And I had a preconceived notion that what they were telling me was one of those, until I actually 4 months later realized, wait a minute, my accountant owns 50 pieces of real estate. And here's what he told me. He said, Don, I've made more money with this program than I'm making more money with this program than I am in all my 50 pieces of real estate combined. When he told me that, I was like, what? You know what I mean? Because I thought it was just another deal, another scheme. So I said, all right, I'll look. And honestly, the truth be told, Nick, the only reason why I looked was not because I was interested even after he told me that, but it was because they were recommending me construction work. They were referring me jobs, and I didn't want them to stop. And they just asked me to look, to evaluate, because I might be able to recommend them work back, recommend them something that could help them develop that business. So that's the only reason why I looked. But when I saw it was, first of all, different than anything I'd ever seen. It wasn't what my preconceived notions were. And it fixed all the problems that I've seen people, including my dad, struggle with in that industry. So when I saw that, I don't want to go much deeper into that because I want to keep it on a focal point here. But I saw that it could work for me. It could create, most importantly, it could create residual passive income, which was what I was all about at that point, because I really wanted to use a lot of my resources into real estate. But I wanted to be able to spend time in real estate. And the biggest struggle I had in the construction field was it was drawing so much of my time that I didn't have the time to invest. And I also found myself being drawn to coach and mentor and guide people, whatever that came from out of nowhere. I always liked doing it with baseball, right? When I played baseball after, I did some coaching and stuff with some 15, 16-year-old kids. But when I found this from a business perspective, an entrepreneurial perspective, I realized, wow, that could be a big part of my life, because I always just passionately fell in love with helping people in whatever it is that I did. So it really made a lot of sense for me to learn more about it. So I got started very part-time, and I think it's smart for anybody if they find a side business that could do well for them part-time without having to take them away from what they do. It didn't take me away from construction at all for about 2.5 years, just under 3 years. I did my construction company and I did really well. In fact, because of my experience of building this other business, it taught me how to run my construction company better and how to be a better entrepreneur all in all. So I actually was the most successful I was when I decided to move on from the construction business, simply because the business that I got started with, which is in the network marketing world, but completely different than what most people have ever experienced or have seen, did so well for me, but it just spoke to my soul. And I really wanted to put my time into that and then in real estate investing to create 2 residual type income streams. So that's what it's been for me now for Nick, 8.5 years. And again, it wasn't an industry thing. It wasn't because I thought this type of industry was better than this industry. It was because it just was the right thing for Don, for me to do, because it spoke to my soul, and I was doing what I loved. In fact, I don't think I work every single day. You know, like my wife said, hey, well, it was this past birthday I had, you know, it just passed a few weeks ago, and I turned 45. I'm catching up to you, Nick. And she's like, what, do something that you want for your birthday. And I end up doing meetings that day. You know, I can't help myself, because the difference that I have the opportunity to make in people's lives is enough for me to say, hey, listen, the best birthday present for me would be to see someone just turn their life around and
it gives you joy. It gives you joy.
Change the trajectory of their life, and really make an impact for them and their family. And all, by the way, all the people that they might influence over time too. It doesn't just stop at the person you share and help. It continues ongoing. It's like, have you ever seen the movie Pay It Forward?
I heard of it, but I have not seen it. No.
Old school movie. I encourage it, because it talks about, it's a little kid that comes up with an idea that he's going to help people, and they can help people do things that they can't help themselves. And he doesn't think it's working, but it is. And that's kind of how it happens when you make a difference in people's lives. It just gets shared through people. You don't know what's going on until you know, it gets back to you somehow. And man, there's nothing like that, you know, that comes back. So that's how I end up becoming what I did. And from helping and speaking to crowds in you know, 20,000+ or more. I don't know, man. It's like pitching in a baseball game, bro. I mean, that's really what the only thing I can compare it to, because that's what he did. You know, it's like going on the mound, and it's a full count, and you know, one of your guys, you remember, I don't know if you remember this, but one of your guys decide to you know, bases loaded, and he's got a full count, and or 3-0, I can't remember when it was, and he decided to plunk a guy, so they'd throw him out, and then we had to go in, right? Take it over, right? Yeah, what did you do?
Yeah.
There's nothing that's exhilarating. So that's, you know, same thing of being able to share and help with other people.
No, I love it, man. And talk about a little bit of what exactly the business is.
I broker products and services, right? So I broker products and services. So I had an opportunity, and I work with a lot of business owners. So there's 2 facets to the business that I do. The first is I broker products and services, and I help business owners find an ancillary cash flow, an ancillary offering, like a product or service they can offer through their business. That's an add-on product or service that makes sense in their world. So for example, personal trainers and nutritional or weight loss products, cosmetologists, skincare specialists, estheticians, you know, salon owners, you know, these in the cosmetic and skincare products and services, things, and so on and so forth. Many different ranges that we can offer. So that's the first thing I do, is I do a lot with business owners and help them add extra revenue sources and streams to their business. The second thing I do is I find people that also want to run an entrepreneurial business and do what I do. Establish those type of relationships, and I can teach people how to create online marketplaces as well, where they can sell products and services online. So you know, it's a very unique model. It's a dynamic model, but that's pretty much the 2 things that we do. So that's where that's kind of the direction we go. Create good clients through offering products, services through them, or teaching people how to do what I do, and own their own business the same way I do it. And there's ways that they compensate us for that too, which is very different than the traditional multi-level marketing type of an approach. And you know, that's a much deeper conversation. But
yes, it is. And that was one of my questions, is how is yours different? I'd like you to go into what the platform is. It's shop.com, correct?
That's correct.
Platform.
That's right. And what makes it different is the way the model works is, number one, we're a broker. We broker products and services from a multitude of different products and service providers and manufacturers, whereas most companies out there, they manufacture or supply a product or a service, and they're pigeonholed to one industry. And they also tell and they also tell everybody, we make the best, and here's why. The problem with that is every company said they make the best, and here's why. So we're more of like a consumer or a business person's advocate, where we'll sift and sort, and we'll source the best product from over 100 different manufacturers to bring the best to the marketplace. So that's the first thing that makes us different. And there's a multitude of different industries. So what I love when you think about real estate, the reason why real estate is such a great profession to invest in is because in real estate, you can find, you can buy property, and then your renters, especially in the commercial side of things, they can be in any industry they want. Now you make money in all different industries. So your renter can be a salon owner, your renter can be a doctor, your renter can be an esthetician, a skincare specialist, a gym. It could be anybody, right? A retailer.
Right.
And when you are renting your real estate to those, now you're making money in those different industries. I love real estate for that. With this, it gives me the same opportunity. I specialize in, from a product service perspective, I love the fitness wellness side of things and the financial services side of things. So that's the two things that I really focus on, like teaching people how to handle their debt, eliminate their debt, right? And wellness, fitness, like things just from a long-term health perspective, like those nutritional type of things. So that's the two things I focus on. But I have many people that have come into my team that are doctors, estheticians, spa owners, salon owners, and I don't wear makeup very often, Nick. I mean, not like when we were in school, bro. You know what I mean? We never wore it, right? But I have a lot of people that offer products in industries that I never would have been a part of. But I have a business that generates really nice revenue and income because I was able to offer people in different industries that I have interest in the ability to offer business there. So that's the first thing that makes us different. We broker products and services. Second thing that makes us different is the compensation thing. It's not a multi-level marketing type of a business. It's more of just a tracking system. And again, it's more of a detailed approach. But when most people have had experience in those industries, they experience things like they recruit people on these tiered percentages and level programs. We don't do any of that. We're just track. Pyramid type. We're just a tracking system.
Right.
And we just track business that from people who lead to people. We track that business and the sheer volume that's created. It just pretty much compensates everyone at 100%. There's no tiers and levels and percentages, which makes it weird and complicated many times. So just the model of compensation is completely different than what people would normally ever see in the networking, direct sales, multi-level marketing world. And I love it. I love it because of that, because we can make a difference and everybody can make it, not just a few select people.
Yeah, there's so many things you can do with it. And I'd like you to get just a little bit more detailed on an example. Shop.com, what that can do for someone that wants to use the website, how the relationship is with you or someone of your team members, just a little more specifics.
So customers, two type of customers we have. One would be, like I said, that I really spend a lot of time of business owners that are buying and selling through their business and creating ancillary cash flows. They're making 30 to 50% or whatever the margins of the product that they're getting access to. And it's exclusive. People can't go get them anywhere else except for through them. So that's the first type of customer that I have. So they're making extra income. And the relationship with me would be, I help them find what makes sense in their business world and help them, identify it, implement it, integrate it into their business. And then it's a hands-off approach, because once it's there, most of them are consumable, commoditable things. So their customers will keep on buying. So that allows the business owners that even if people decide maybe they won't go to that business or they move to another spot, a lot of times it keeps cash flow coming into them, even after their clients don't live near where they used to, right? So they can create ongoing income. But the second customer that we would have would be a customer that just goes to our shop.com site. Like I have customers that just go to my shop.com site and they can buy it directly through my site. The benefit to the customer is they get access to many products that they can't anywhere else in the world that are great. But they also earn a benefit. It's a cashback benefit. So every time somebody buys through my site, every time, no matter what they buy, whether it be from any of our exclusive brands, but also
list some of your affiliates, like your affiliates, some of the major affiliates.
Walmart, Home Depot, Macy's. So we have all these different affiliates that actually pay us a commission when we send traffic to them too.
Got it.
So now, people go from us and get access to that. But here's the best part. They actually earn cash back when they do it. So now if they go through my site, it's a free account. They don't have to spend $1. They go to the account, they make a purchase through that free account, through the shop.com account. But then when they buy through my site and they make a purchase, they get a percentage of what they spend back in cash. So it essentially makes it cheaper to go through us
Yep.
to Walmart than it is to go straight to Walmart or
Yep.
any of the other 3,000 to 5,000 partner stores that are there, and you're ones that you know, like, and trust. I mean, that's a neat thing about it. So with all those dynamics of brokering, it sounds like a lot, but all we bring it down to one thing. We just teach people, whether they're a customer or an entrepreneur, how to convert their spending into some kind of earning. And that's really what it's all about. And the same thing with our customer or with our partners. We convert our spending into earning too. I buy everything from myself, and I teach others to do the same thing.
And the cash back could be what, 1, 2, 3%, and that could be significant with large purchases.
Brother, I mean, like right now, I mean, the last time I looked, Walmart was closer to 4 or 5.
Oh, wow.
There's no Walmart because we have consumer collective influence, right? So what's neat about it is, I mean, we even have some of them up to 30+% cash back on some of our vendors.
Really?
Right? It just all depends. They average 2 to 15 to 20, right? Because we're a $9.5 billion company with a lot of influence, and we're taking advantage of what's happening in the world now, where more and more people are not listening to ads, but they're listening to real life relationships. It's kind of one-to-one peer influence is causing more business and ads can ever again, because there's so many advertisements out there. You guys all see them. It's just like white noise, and people don't pay attention. People listen to their friends, family, relatives, or people that they know, like, and trust. And we're able to convert that influence into income for the person that makes the recommendation. And it's a dynamic thing, and it's changing the way people shop and the way people do business. And it's something which I love right now in the COVID time. People can do it from their home. They have to be entrepreneurial. They have to be passionate. They have to willing to want to work. It's not a get rich quick scheme. But man, it's a game changer. And it allowed me to be able to use that revenue to invest more in real estate. And I have the time to do it now and be with my kids. That's the most, and my wife, of course.
Love it, man. And yeah, that leads me to COVID, like how that has impacted you. And I can only imagine you guys were very prepared for something like this because of your virtual expertise.
I don't think we intentionally were prepared for this type of situation, right? At all. It just so happened that when it came together and it was simply because we had offerings of solutions for people who needed more help than ever. When COVID hit, people were in shambles. They had no idea what to do. And we were like, when we started looking at what are we going to do? We had a lot of live in-person things we did, right? Because you make the most impact when you can connect with people in person, right? But because we had business all over the world, and we have people all over the world, right? We were really, really good with technology, really good with virtual things. And it was a business that was run traditionally from home. And it was also products and services that enhanced certain aspects of people's lives. For example, immune function. Right? Like that's the big thing. Everybody wants to stay well and healthy and keep their immune system optimally functioning. Right. So because of that, we were just, it was almost like a perfect storm that positioned us to be able to grow faster. And I don't even know what our total numbers are, but I know for me personally, 30 or 40% growth. I've been 21 years with this, Nick, and I've grown my business, personal business has probably grown. I've even close to 40% probably in the last 6 months. And that's a 21-year developed business. It's unbelievable.
Unreal. Yeah, really.
And it's only because we're helping people. Like I realize people want help. They want help in number one, they want to shop from home. They don't have to go to the stores. That's a major trend. Well, they can sit in front of their computer, shop from home, earn money back, get the best deal they'll find online, and have it shipped right to their house in a better process than any other one out there, including the biggest of the big, because they're getting paid to do it. We're just allocating funds to give them cash back. So it's a no-brainer for consumers, and it helps them stay from home with thousands of vendors to choose from, not just one. The second thing is the nutritional side of things. So we're offering these products that are clinically supported to optimize immune health. right? And to me, I tell everybody in the world that you know, stay healthy, for crying out loud. Make sure your body is prepared as it can be. If in case anything happens, you want to make sure you're going to be a survivor with it. And there's certain nutrients that can really assist that, I believe, right?
Yeah.
So that's the second thing, and that's a big passion of mine, and I'm doing it with a lot of doctors right now, all across America and the United Kingdom primarily. But that's the second thing. The third thing is, people want to work from home now, and they want to find a way to work for themselves from home, but not interfere with what they have if they still have a job, you know, because some people don't. But they want to be able to create something, because this too shall pass. And this is what I'm telling everybody. This too shall pass. This crazy pandemic is going to pass. But this is so that's a promise. But here's a second promise. It's not the first time we're going to have a challenge in our life, and it's not the last one either. So people realize that this was enough of a wake-up call, or for some people, it's a complete punch in the mouth, that they realize, man, I have to do something to secure myself.
Got to make some changes. Yep.
Make some changes, or do something in addition. Like maybe keep doing what I'm doing because I love doing it, but let me do something on the side that can, in a year or two, set me up to where I have my finances taken care of, my money's situated,
better prepared.
I don't have to worry about the grind, and that's the third big thing. So in the situation we're at right now, it's just help. And I've worked more than ever, and I have a residual income. I don't need to work for the money anymore. That's a neat thing about it. But I'm working more than ever because more people need it, and I am called to it. You know, I have to help them, no matter what it is, whether it's a Saturday night or a Saturday morning or a 11:30 p.m. Zoom that I'll do in California, or a 5 a.m. crazy Zoom session in UK, because people need it. And, you know, not that they won't all want it, but because it's not for everybody. But when I find the right people, man, it was all worth it.
And the best thing about it, it's not work, right? You love it.
Not for me. Not for me.
I love you. I love your passion, man.
It was work at first because I had to learn it. And that's the one thing I always tell people: don't be afraid at certain things. Sometimes people don't take advantage of opportunity because it shows up in ripped shoes, you know, ripped pants and dirty pants, and looks like work. Opportunity, great opportunity, is still work. Yeah. But as you do it and you realize the impact it makes, and you have a purpose behind it, you easily fall in love with it. And it's anything, guys, because I found my passion. I have a lot of people that have through me, but what I have completely could be totally different from someone else. And I want them to find what theirs is and what someone else is, you know, or maybe we can help people create the cash flow so they can go do what they wanted to do. You know, because they can get money out of the way. There's so many different variables that come into play for people. And for me, it's just making the difference and having the confidence and posture to coach people and be like the annoying personal trainer that you hate when you're working out, but you love from the results. That's kind of how I am in business. You know what I mean? So.
Love your energy, brother. Hey, circling back, just a quick question on the consumer side of the business. If they go to shop.com to make a purchase, how is that? Would your biggest competition be Amazon? I mean, is there any relationship with them at all, other than?
No, because Amazon really doesn't have an opportunity. I mean, Amazon's a great consumer platform. You know, we don't even compete with Amazon because Amazon does what Amazon does. You know, they give people a way to go shop, pay retail, pay for a membership, get stuff shipped to them, all that kind of stuff. Ours is more about the opportunity. You know, ours is more about the entrepreneurial side of it and the personal relationship that's provided, you know. So ours is more, hey, people want to go, they want to shop from all the vendors that they normally would be shopping from. It'll be shipped right to their house, but they want to earn some money back from doing that. They want to earn some cash back. Yeah. And also it's about the people that come on board with us as business owners. They want to convert their own spending into an income. So it's just a reallocation of the marketing margins. See, people don't have access to make to earn marketing margins from, you know, like you said, Amazon or any of the other places. They can't make those. Amazon uses those to pay for their overhead and their marketing and their advertisement, all that stuff. And this, it's a reallocation program. So those margins that would have been spent on advertisement instead are redirected back into a model that pays us for being the mouthpiece of the brands. And and we've paid out over 5 billion in total business. So I mean, the company's done over 9.5 billion with over 5 billion US in payout to people that are actually the influencers. And if you realize and understand that big shift that's happening from mass marketing now to the one-to-one relationship marketing, people pay attention to Facebook and ads from their friends, not ads on Facebook, but Facebook and interaction from people that they know.
Yeah, recommendations, personal.
Way more than they'll ever pay attention to an ad anymore. So that's a reallocation. And by the way, just so you know, last year, 623 billion was the number for what's called global ad spend, collective global ad spend. $500 billion was what companies spent on ads. But they found, and this is a study that I saw, only 7%, Nick, 7% of people that saw an ad actually made buying decisions based upon the ad. The other 93% made it based upon someone's recommendation that they knew. So there's a shift from mass media marketing over to one-to-one peer marketing. And we're at the front end of that because we can compensate people for it. And it's just a more effective way to do it. And companies love us because of that too.
Love it, man. Love it. So listeners on this show will probably primarily be looking for alternatives to college.
Yep. How
did starting in construction help create some of the clarity on your chosen path today? I know we touched a little bit on that earlier. Like how did that just help you with your clarity on choosing your current path and what your profession is today?
Well, I have a funny story for you that you might not even know. This leads right into this question. I didn't graduate.
I did not know that.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
So I was in my last year, right? Finished up school. It's in my last year. Had the injury, right? Was still going to go try to play, but and I did, but a little pro ball, but it wasn't, I just had lost it, wasn't there. Sadly enough, I was very, not welcoming to that right away. I'm going to get better. I'm going to get better. I'm going to get better. You know what I mean? And surgery was off the table because I knew it would make it worse. But just, maybe it'll heal on its own. And no, it didn't. But ironically enough, what happened for me is I thought I was walking to graduate. And I get a call from the advisor, Temple. And they say, Don, you're missing a class. What are you talking about? Now, by this time, Nick, you understand, I had 150. I had 150 credits. I only needed 120 to graduate. I had 150.
But you missed that one class.
I was missing computer information sciences 1. Now, I had taken Fortran and all the other ones that are above that.
Yeah, right.
They're saying I'm missing CIS 1, 001. CIS 001, I think is what it was titled, right? And I'm like, you guys would be kidding me, right? Now, understand, my scholarship was expiring. And they're saying, well, you have to come back. You have to take this class if you want to graduate. Guys, I'm done. I started a construction business. I'm trying to play some ball. I'm done. I'm not coming back for a class. So I called up, the athletic director. I'm like, listen, somebody's got to do something for me about this. This is crazy. I'm 150 credits. I only need 120. It's a joke class. I already passed all the classes above it. Nobody caught it. So how do I have to retake this class? But nonetheless, for whatever reason, the dean of the school that I was in didn't quite like athletes. So that being said, there's nothing the AD could do. And they said, the only thing you can do is test out of the class. You have to take this test. It's $50. So I said, fine, I'll take the test and I'll walk. So but I go to this thing and I go to test out of this class, Nick. And I show up and I open this test. And remember, CIS 10 back in the day was like, hey, this is how you use Microsoft Word. You know what I mean? Yeah. This is how you use PowerPoint. It's just stuff like that, right? The test did not reflect that. The test was like taking like computer programming, all these different things. It was impossible. I don't think anybody in the whole thing tested out of that class. So obviously I failed that test because it was impossible. So I go back to the person of that part of the business school. And I say, listen, I'm not doing this. said, you got to let me walk. No, we're not doing it. Well, listen, I have 150. I'm done. I'm not coming. And this is what the guy said, really pissed me. He said, you mean to tell me you're going to throw your entire future away because you're too stubborn to pay for one class? You were an athlete. You don't have to pay for anything. And I said, you know what? With some choice words, give me a couple years. I'll be making more than you. And I left and never went back.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Wow.
I didn't graduate. And my mom was pissed, boy. I mean, you can imagine, right? My dad, he was cool about it, but I was just over it, man. I was over it. And, and I just had that burn in me. And I wasn't going to take a job anyway. I was seeing a job offers. They weren't there, you know, at all when I finished school. So it wouldn't have mattered for me what I wanted to do. Sometimes I reflect back and I say, man, why didn't I just like take it online or something? Like go to the community college or something. I don't care. The point is, that's a great story because it is a great story. I didn't graduate, and I left, and literally within 3 years, I was making more than the dean of the school that I was in. And it was just because I had a hunger and passion to it. And here's the thing: it doesn't matter who people are. It doesn't matter what your education is. All those things. If you want something, go get it. Now, don't get me wrong. You'll still have to educate, but some of it's going to have to be self. It's not going to be something that you're going to get a degree for. It's not. You'll need the education no matter what you do. So if it's not going to be college, you're going to have to decide what the education is going to be. And it might not be a certification education, but it's going to be some kind of training, some kind of education that you'll have to do on your own, regardless. You need it. It's just a matter of where you're going to gather it in your life. It could be even from experiences too.
Amen. Yep.
You're going to need it. Yeah.
Yep.
So that's what happened for me. So
I can't believe you never shared that story before.
I know.
I can't believe you never shared it.
Isn't it crazy?
It is crazy.
Never. So I didn't graduate, and I was able to do it and make it big. And you know, and by the way, I'm just getting started. You know, I'm just getting warmed up. I've done okay, but you know,
I feel the same way.
I have a lot more I want to do.
Yeah, man. So Don, you also met your wife in the business.
I did. There's two sides to that story on how that happened. Her version and mine. And I always joke about it. You know, truth be told, I was doing a presentation actually, and it was in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. And I walked in, and I
where I'm from.
Yeah, right in it was in Grantville, actually.
Okay. Yep.
Right there, right off of Route 70, whatever, 78. Yep. 78, 81.
81. Yeah.
Yep. And I you know, I walked in and I literally spotted her instantly. Right. Just walked in, you know, and I was like, oh, wait, who's that? You know, and there was just an attraction. She's a beautiful woman and girl, of course, which you know, but there was just something about it. I don't know. It was I just spotted her, and luckily enough for me, you know, fortunately enough for me, when I started presenting, she made it apparent to the person that was sitting next to her that there was some intrigue there too. So, and I'm happy that at the end of the presentation, you know, when I was done, it was about an hour and went through it all, and that we got introduced by the person she mentioned it to. And it was actually pretty awkward for her because put her on the spot pretty much, but it made me realize, wow, she noticed, you know, this is a mutual thing. So I said, you know, I would love to connect and have another conversation again. So I used that as leverage to come back. When they said, hey, can you come back out again and present? I'm like, I'll only come if that girl's there. And I didn't even know what her name was at the time. I only met her for 10 minutes. So they figured out who I was talking about. And luckily enough, she was not totally creeped out that I was asking for her to come back for me to come present. And you know, the rest was history. We met, and now we build a business together. She loves what she does. She's very, very focused on the cosmetic, skincare, beauty industry. She's
called Motives, right?
Yeah, Motives, correct. Yep. Motives is the brand, but she handles all of the field development side of things for the cosmetic and skincare and personal care lines that we integrate into a lot of the professional outlets. She even runs the beauty academy too that they run. So she loves that, and that's her you know, kind of passion, and she loves doing that setup things. And I like doing the entrepreneurial side from the front end. So we have a really good set here. Don't get me wrong; it's not easy to work with a spouse. I will tell you, it's daunting a lot of times when you find your lane. Sometimes it takes a while to both find your lanes. And even when you do, when you're entrepreneurial, ambitious, and you're stubborn, like we both are,
Yep.
you'll cross into each other's lanes, either intentionally or unintentionally.
Yep.
It ruffles some feathers for sure, but passionate people know how to get past that. And we're both solutions oriented. So it works out well when we find the solutions, for sure. You know? It's always a good thing. But it's been a blessing for me. So 3 awesome kids, a beautiful wife, a really nice lifestyle, a really nice business. And all in all came because I was able to try something that most people are skeptical about, you know? And man, it's a life changer for so many people because of that.
Yeah. Well said, man. Well said. So outside of work, which we know you're passionate about, is there anything that you do for hobbies that you're also passionate that's not work related or oriented?
I really think I used to love to coach baseball, right? As you know, and I did, but I kind of went away from that a little bit, from the baseball coaching side, simply because I realized that era, that season of my life has passed. You know, it was a hard thing to move on from, but I did. And one of my favorite things to do growing up was I loved outdoor activities. I loved to fish and hunt. I love the outdoor activities. I love that, right? And since I can remember, I would always take people, and I always wanted to be the person that would take them to catch their first fish or get their first deer or whatever that might be, you know. Just be that person, introduce them to that world. Through my business dealings with what I do now, I come across a lot of people that are either inner city people or a lot of veterans that that are disabled or wounded or something from their experiences, and are looking to do something else from a financial standpoint. That's how I get connected with them. But I realized that there's something that is therapeutic about the outdoors. And I've always loved it. When, no matter how busy I get, there's nothing for me like going out and fishing or sitting in a tree stand or going out in the woods. It's just things about it. There's just something about it that you can't understand until you do it. And you realize that, how therapeutic it is for people and how connected people become during those processes, how it just creates these bonds. And the respect for life and all the different things that come because of it. So when I evolved from the construction business into my business now, and I created a good amount of success with it, and then started teaching other people how to do that, I realized that I had more time and I wanted to give back. And I don't even remember how it happened or when it happened, but I realized every single time that I would take people to fish, hunt, do anything like that, or I did it, I was just drawn to it, and I absolutely loved it. I loved it as much, if not more, when I had people with me than when it was just me, because of the experience and all. And I realized that when people experience those things, those type of experiences, when they have those experiences, it's transformational for people, right? So I realize a lot of people don't have the opportunity, or they'll never have the opportunity to experience the outdoors, and they need some therapies in their life too, that could really help mentally, So I decided to start a foundation. It's called the Friends of the Outdoors Foundation. I've been doing all this stuff for my whole life for nothing, and just just for me, right? To give people those experiences. But I decided to make it official, and I established a 501c3 organization. I don't take a penny from it. I actually put into it. I just wanted to be able to make it to where we could take both inner city kids or people that would never had an opportunity to experience the outdoors and do things with them. And I would say the thing I do most in is with veterans, returning veterans that are injured, disabled, or wounded,
Cool.
and their kids. And I love to take them out fishing and hunting and experiencing those outdoor things and creating the things that maybe they wouldn't have been able to do because of the honor that they served in our military, and I want to make sure that I can always give back to them as often and as I guess as often as possible, you know, and that's really what it's all about for me. And I just love it. It takes it to a whole nother level for me when I'm able to do that. So I started that foundation to do that.
When did you start that foundation?
I think it was about 2 years ago now.
Okay.
I've been doing it since I can remember. I mean, I remember I would take people to hunter safety courses for the first time, and take them out hunting for the first time, and take them fishing for the first time, and all those type of things. My whole life that I can remember. But I officially, I think the 501c3 is about 2.5 years now that's official, and we want to keep scaling it up from there. But again, it's something that we do in addition to what we're doing. So I have two major draws and passions in my life. One is giving people the entrepreneurial longevity mindset, you know, that's one, and then the to enjoy it along the way with the outdoor experiences. You know, that's the two things that I just get drawn towards. And sometimes they cross paths and I do them all at the same time, which I love because I can fish, we can talk business at the same time. And same thing with hunting. You have to be just a little quieter.
Right. No, that's great, Don. And it's called the Friends of the Outdoors Foundation, correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
Friends of the Outdoors. Yep,
excellent.
That's right. Yep.
Excellent. So if someone wants to get a hold of you, what's the best way to get a hold of Don Martin?
So any social platform is just at Don Martin Live. You know, anything, I think on Facebook is at Don Martin Live. Number 1 at the end is my personal, and then at Don Martin Live is my personal page, as my business page, and then at Don Martin Live. So on any platform, that's what it is. And yeah, man, I would love to just offer value. And if there's anything I can do for any of the listeners, man, I mean, feel free to jump on and learn. And I'm looking forward, by the way, to have Nick Ofak, the founder of Constructing Greatness podcast, on my podcast in the near future. So it's going to be a lot of fun, and I'm excited for people.
I'm looking forward to. Yeah, man, appreciate it. Really looking forward to it. Anything else? You have anything else for me? Any questions at all?
No, I mean, I'm just excited for you to keep going forward and keep doing what you're doing. I honor you today, Nick, for taking the time, because I know you're a busy guy with the construction business, and I know you have a lot of moving parts with your business, and you have one of the fastest growing companies now, the commercial, which is pretty powerful. You can see the acumens behind you, the Inc. 5000 and Inc. 500 things, which is so fun to see and watch you excel in your
I appreciate
career,
it, man.
which has been a blessing to see. I'm just intrigued to watch how this all evolves for you, and the impact that you make with people. And I know if people take the time to really learn, and they'll feel your heart, and they'll see where it's going. And I'm excited for people to get that impact too.
Don, man, I really appreciate it, man. Miss you, love you, brother. And I hope to get together soon, man.
Yeah, man, we'll have to do that. Love you. Thanks for having me on, bro.